الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وبعد. My name is Jalal Abualrub, Jalal Jalal Abualrub, from Palestinian, Muslim before anything else, and from the city of Jenin in the West Bank. So many of my own family, let alone the Palestinian people, have been killed, especially in the last 3-4 months. People who carry the name of my family, a very large family, I never saw them. They were born, they were killed like the 9-year-old boy before we could see them, before they could enjoy this life. I am a Muslim. Islam is my number one reason for all the things I do. Being a Muslim from Palestine gives me a greater opportunity to talk about Palestine. Today, the topic is about Zalgi Khan. He writes for the Times of Israel, or the Times of Israel is posting some of his articles, or both of these things. He writes for them, they post for him. I don't know the deal, but Zalgi Khan. They say he's a Pakistani. I don't know. I tried to find his biography and I couldn't find anything. Maybe some of those who are listening to me today can send me something. They say he's from Pakistan. They say he is Muslim. I've been trying to find out from which direction he is Muslim. From which direction? There is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. This is the foundation of Islam. This is the statement that makes one a Muslim, and those who want to remain in the religion of Islam have to fulfill the cornerstones, the pillars of Islam, and the branches. After that, they come after the pillars. The pillars are the essence of Islam, and they have many branches. So if a Muslim deviates from the pillars, cornerstones of Islam, calling him a Muslim will be difficult. However, each person is different. We have to investigate what's going on. Why are they saying these things? And this has to do with Shamsi. Shamsi, who I responded to a few weeks ago, once I heard what he said about the Palestinians. Today we're talking about Zalgi Khan. All thanks to Allah. Allah blessed me to author or translate close to 60 books so far, including a half of Tafsir ibn Kathir, which explains the meaning in the Quran, a half of it. I'm working on another Tafsir, explanation of the Quran, with the meaning found in the Quran, Tafsir al-Sa'di, and tens of other books Allah blessed me to finish. Today, even today, I'm still working on the 3rd edition of my book, Holy Wars, Crusades, Jihad. The title says it all. Third edition. I'm adding to this book, which I published in America after 9/11. I'm adding a number of things that happened since then, including the war in Gaza. So let's talk about Zalghi Khan, and later we'll talk about Shamsi. Zalghi Khan has a number of interesting articles. And to see Zalghi Khan, I need my glasses. So I'm trying to, okay, let me do this so the light doesn't reflect on them. I need to read Zalghi Khan. What's going on with Zalghi Khan? People say he's a Muslim. Like I said, I fail to see from which direction. Look at the articles. But blogs, TimesofIsrael.com, victory is within reach for the IDF in Gaza. That's a Muslim? How? I mean, the picture shows somebody who's from Pakistan area, but also many Jews look like that, look like us too. So I'm not talking about this article now. Another one, blogs.timesofisrael.com, why criticism of Israel is anti-Semitic. Wow. I mean, this is even more than many Jews and those who support them say. They tell people if they criticize Israel, this is anti-Semitism, but not this way. Criticism of Israel is just a blanket statement, is anti-Semitic. Not okay. Let's go next. Here is an interesting article I found for Zalghi Khan. blogs.timesofisrael.com, to defeat terror, Israel must turn to the Torah. Incidentally, the book I just mentioned, Holy Wars, Crusades, Jihad, has a section about warfare in the Old Testament. Let me clarify first. The Old Testament is not the Torah. The Torah is a book of Islamic guidance, divine guidance, sent from Allah to Moses for the children of Israel, to teach them how to worship Allah. After they, of course, go through monotheism, saying there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, and in their time, Moses is the prophet of Allah. This is the foundation. For someone to be a follower of a prophet, they have to say the statement and mention their prophet who sent in their time. After Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam means Allah's mercy, blessings be on him. After Muhammad was sent, the statement will always be from now on, all the way until the day of judgment, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So what we're talking about here is Moses. And he received a book from Allah, a book of guidance, a Torah. It was sent to him for the benefit of the children of Israel. The Old Testament, a collection of stories written over the span of thousands of years, and truly nobody knows who wrote what in it, what's their name, who gave them the authority to write what they wrote, if what they wrote is authentic, false, additions, deletions, who knows? What original language, where, when, who? Absolutely nothing. So I have a number of articles. The Old Testament by authors anonymous, because truly nobody knows who wrote these things So the Torah came to Moses for the benefit of the children of Israel. How did it come to include the number of their tribes and sheep and whatever they stole from Egypt, allegedly? Moses would not allow this theft one. How many cows and sheep and chickens, maybe, who knows, all these tribes and the names of where they resided and who married whom and who had many wives and whatever. This is the Torah. It isn't the Torah, but these people, the Jews, I have to submit, the most expert people in corrupting the word of God. God is known in the Christian world today as being referring to Allah. Jesus never said God. Moses never said God. But that's the word they use. So I'm using it as a figure of speech because the name of the creator of everything is Allah. Jesus, when he used to call on the creator and the children of Israel, Elohim, Ilah, Allah, God, it doesn't fit. Anyway, so the book that we have to do, that we have today, was written by anonymous people. It's not the Torah. What do you mean it's the Torah? They say the 5 books of Moses. So look at the last statement in the 5 books of Moses. And Moses was 120 years old when he died. Who wrote this? So when the angel of death came to him, he said, wait, I'm not dead yet. It's a figure of speech. And Moses, me, was 120 years old when he died. It's a clear fabrication. So they say the Torah is the Old Testament. It's not the Torah, but they say the Torah. So let's hold them accountable for what the Torah said, and it didn't. The Old Testament is not the Torah. So Zalghi Khan says, so for instance, we read in Joshua 1:8, but you must be very strong and resolute to observe faithfully all the teaching that my servant Moses enjoined upon you. So the Jews wrote this book for the Jews upon you. Do not deviate from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. So this is what Zalghi Khan quoted from Joshua, and the title of the article, to defeat terror, Israel must turn to the Torah. The Torah is to them the Old Testament. Let's turn to the Torah, the Old Testament. A part of the jihad book I just mentioned, and it's coming soon. Please follow us on islamlife.com, my website, islamlife.com, islamlife.com. Also, we have a YouTube channel, this one, where you see this video, and a Facebook page, islamlife.com. There you will find announcements about this book. It's a very important book. I'm very busy. I'm not feeling well, but this is good to respond to it. I love defending Islam. This is why I'm here today. This is why I spend most of my time researching, reading, and supporting my religion. I said in this book, the new edition of the Jihad book, in this segment, Note how the Jews, not feeling well, I'm sorry. In this segment, note how the Jews who wrote the Old Testament with their own hands ascribed major crimes to God, the Lord, and to Moses. In this segment, note how the Jews who wrote the Old Testament with their own hands ascribed major crimes to the Lord and to Moses. Also, compare the quoted instructions from the Old Testament to what the Jews are currently doing to the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. The close connection between the Jewish holy books, edicts, and the actions of the Jews is clear to those who have a good heart, who are able to see the truth so they can convey and promote the truth. The Lord said to Moses, "Take vengeance on the Midianites for the Israelites. After that, you will be gathered to your people," meaning you will die after that. So Moses said to the people, "Arm some of your men to go to war against the Midianites so that they may carry out the Lord's vengeance on them. Send into battle 1,000 men from each of the tribes of Israel." So 12,000 men armed for battle, 1,000 from each tribe were supplied from the clans of Israel. They fought against Midian, as the Lord commanded Moses, and killed every man. Among their victims were the 5 kings of Midian. The Israelites captured the Midianite women and children and took all the Midianites or the Midianite herds, flocks, and goods as plunder. They burned all the towns where the Midianites had settled, as well as all their camps. They took all the plunder and spoils, including the people and animals, and brought the captives' spoils and plunder to Moses and Eleazar, the priest Eleazar. And the Israelite assembly at their camp on the plains of Moab went to meet them. So here, so they took all the captives, the animals and the women and the children, and went to the camp. Moses, Eleazar, the priest, and all the leaders of the community went to meet them outside the camp. Moses was angry. Moses was angry with the officers of the army, the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds who returned from the battle. "Have you allowed all the women to live?" he asked them. They were the ones who followed Balaam's advice and enticed the Israelites to be unfaithful to the Lord in the Peor incident, so that a plague struck the Lord's people. Now kill all the boys and kill every woman who has slept with a man. Here, O Jewish people, your book tell you to follow Moses and the commandments of Moses, and here's what it's telling you what Moses said. Now kill all the boys and kill every woman who has slept with a man, but save for yourselves every girl who has never slept with a man. the plunder remaining from the spoils that the soldiers took was 675,000 sheep, 72,000 cattle, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 women who had never slept with a man. Numbers chapter 31. If you remove Moses and other names in this segment from the Old Testament, it's not the Torah. They call it the Torah. If you remove Moses and the Israelites and put Gaza in there, this is on the side of the victims, and put the names of the leaders of Israel today. Netanyahu. Netan stands for stinky. Netanyahu, and all these leaders, that Zalgi Khan said, Israel is not a slave of the West or the United States. Really? How come you go there to beg them for more weapons to kill more innocent people and civilians every time? You are a slave. You're living off of their money that they steal from taxpayers like me and send it to the Jews to kill our people. So that's what he said. Kill every woman who has slept with a man. And here is, I want you to think about this. But save for yourselves every girl who has never slept with a man. How did they know that? Can you please tell me, please? How did they know the girls who did not sleep with a man? How? You think about it. You're going to find some references to the Talmud in the book, my book that's coming. So think about it. Also, all these sheep and cattle and donkeys, well, the Midianites were like China, having all these hundreds of thousands of stuff. It's just a small area in Palestine. That is a very small area itself compared to the areas around it. It's just a small area. They took from one town 675,000 sheep. Unbelievable. Now they killed every man, woman, except for the virgin girls, 32,000. So how many people were killed during that day? You see, every one of those virgin girls had parents, siblings, aunts, uncles. How many? 250,000 in one day? Well, maybe they mistook Midian for Shanghai. Look at the numbers. Clear fabrication, but anyway. And then the question here is not only how did they find out who was a virgin among the women, you think about it, but what did they do with these girls? They took them to teach them the Torah? So is this what you want? Yeah, Mr. Zalgi Khan. You are no mister. You're a criminal, a war criminal. You want the Jews to... They are already doing that. So they're steps ahead of you. They are doing that. Today, the number of the Gaza civilians who were killed, 22,000 since October 7th. Close to 60,000 injured. Thousands more of killed and injured in the West Bank. But Gaza is receiving the vengeance. Let me tell you this, Jews and the Zionist, Zalgi Khan and other people. Gaza is not Midian. Yeah? But what can we say? These people are incredible. And this man is, people telling me that he's a Muslim. From which direction? From the direction of the killing. Okay, so he wants the Jews today to do what the Lord told Moses, and Joshua said that you follow the commandments of the Lord that he gave to Moses. He wants them to do what they're already doing, and not only from October 7th. It didn't start then. It started long time ago, when the Brits promised a land that the Jews never had to the Jews, knowing that there are hundreds of thousands, millions of Palestinians living in that land. History. You want me to spell history for you? I don't have a code. It's called anyway. The time of the year. I'm here. I have a heater. And the Palestinians are receiving the commandments of the Lord by the hands of the Jews. The Lord would never, never, never issue such commandments. And Moses, the mighty prophet from Allah, would never tell the people to do this. La ilaha illallah. There is no way. This is clear evidence that the Jews wrote the Torah, rewrote the Torah, and added, deleted throughout the centuries until we got to there. Moses would never do that. And God, Allah, would never command that. Anyway, so we're talking today about this Zalgi Khan, and he's saying the commandments of the Lord and this and that. And the Jews are already doing it. So what do you want them to do more? They already killed 22,000 from Gaza alone. A conflict that started 106 years ago, not October 7th. You have to understand, 106 years ago. But what can you say? From the beginning of the year until October 7th, only in the West Bank, the Jews killed 300 Palestinians. Settlers just come in, shoot, kill, burn. Say, this is our land. See? The title to the land. Abraham gave him the title to us. Are you Israelite to begin with? Well, Jews. I mean, I challenged the Jews decades ago. You say you're Israelites? DNA. Test. And show the test to the world, because they did that. And they hide the test, because they will find that maybe a majority of the Jews today are not Israelites. But you want them to follow what they're already following. I mean, what more do you need? We thank Allah that the Jews of today are not following exactly what the Old Testament is teaching them by taking the virgins too. They're saying, we're here, let's kill them all. And this war criminal, Zalgi Khan, I don't know how to pronounce his name, it's not intentional. Zalgi Khan is promoting all this. Okay, let me end with this segment from one of my books. 50 righteous and humane concepts brought by Muhammad. And this is from page 87. The New Testament says that Jesus verbally abused the Jews, calling them hypocrites, as in Matthew 15:7, 22:18, 23:13, and serpents, the offspring of vipers, as in Matthew 23:33. He also expelled them from the temple, and Jesus went into the temple of God and cast out all them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of all the money changers, and the seats of them that sold doves. Matthew 21:12. So they turned the temple into a business transaction. Is that what they're trying, their best to rebuild the temple so they can keep selling or start selling again from there? Because they missed that selling and buying. Now, the book that I'm writing now, this is one of the older versions, second edition. Holy Wars, Crusades, Jihad, page 89. Let me finish by saying this. I'm quoting Jesus here to let the Jews know what they already know. The Jews were expelled from Palestine, by the Romans in the year 71 AD. They started coming back in the early 1900s. So the notion that God gave Palestine to the seed of Abraham forever is missing how many centuries? Please count. So they have no ties to Palestine. They were never owned it. They lived all these centuries all over the world, and then all of a sudden come, hey, we found this here, it says this is our land. So the Jews were expelled from Palestine, and throughout the centuries, after the Romans and Europe became Christian, they were killing the Jews. They were killing the Jews by the hundreds of thousands, by the thousands, by the hundreds. The first crusade, before it got to Palestine, they started by killing the Jews. Hey, why go there? We have the Jews here, let's finish. And they finished them. And then Hitler came and wanted to finish the whole matter by killing the same community that the Christians have been killing for thousands of years. What's the reason? You killed our Lord and Savior, Jesus. Okay. So let me finish with this. I gave you the explanation here. By the way, wait for the next video. We'll talk about Shamsi, the Times of Israel, and Zalghi Khan. John 8:37-45 states that Jesus, the mighty prophet from Allah, we believe in him. We believe in Jesus. We believe in Moses. And we don't believe how they are described in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. So John 8:37-45 states that Jesus said to the Jews who opposed him, I know that ye are Abraham's seed. That time, yes, that's true. But ye seek to kill me, because my word hath no place in you. I speak that which I have seen with my Father, and ye do that which ye have seen with your father. It's tough to read this archaic English. Anyway, they answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Jesus saith unto them, if ye were Abraham's children, ye would do the works of Abraham. But now ye seek to kill me, a man that hath told you the truth, which I have heard of God. This did not Abraham. Ye do the deeds of your father. Look to what this. Listen. Then said they to him, we be not born of fornication. Then said they to him, we be not born of fornication. It's a fabrication. We have one Father, even God. We are God's children. Hey, if we go to hellfire, it's going to be like 9 days, 8 days, 7 days, and it's not going to be for long. We're children, the children of fire. He's not going to leave us in hellfire forever. So they said to him, we be not born of fornication, which is a fabrication. The Quran is the only book, religious book, that defends the honor of Mary, the blessed, honorable virgin who was virgin, and then Allah sent the angel and he blew the life of the soul of Jesus in Mary. She became pregnant without the intervention of any male. So it's a miracle. We believe in it. We love them both. Jesus said unto them, if God were your father, you would love me, for I proceeded forth and came from God. Neither came I of myself. He didn't say I came of myself. He said, neither did I come, neither came I of myself, but he sent me. La ilaha illallah, Jesus, Rasulullah, Isa, Rasulullah. Ye are of your father the devil. It's in the New Testament. And the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. He's telling us, that's your father. And because I tell you the truth, you believe me not. So this is Holy Wars Crusades Jihad, page 89. I have, this book is found on Amazon, ebook, on my website, and we'll announce when the third edition will come. So in summary, wait for the next video about Shamsi, Zalghi Khan, the Times of Israel, Gaza, and the Christians of the world today. I don't need the glasses for this. The children of the Christian communities that have killed so many Jews all over the centuries. Are you trying to convince us that you love the Jews? Come on. You read in your book that they killed your God. So the Jews must be mightier than your God. That's not Allah, God. Isa never said he is God. The Christians, they stuck it to him. So now you're going to tell us that, we love them Jews, Jews. Israel has a special place in paradise. The Jews, look at the history. Since you were kicked out of Palestine, you never came back to Palestine. That's not your land. You're in the middle of 2 billion Muslims who read in their book that Jerusalem is theirs. How long are you going to last? Also, are you really telling us that you trust the people who tried to kill you a few decades ago? They're the same people, same Christians. It's temporary, you know that. And you know that they can all of a sudden say, no more. Jesus, Yeshua, Jesus, you killed them. And they go back to their habit. Aren't you afraid? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Those settlers who come and kill at will, and they go to the West Bank and kill at will, send them back. They're American settlers. They're not, they can prove they are Israelites. Maybe they can. And they never had any ties to Palestine, and they are more aggressive and Zionist than the people of Israel even want to. So wake up. Anyway, so the Times of Israel is publishing articles that say, go back to the Torah. They've been studying the Torah, those Jews in Israel, the state of Israel. Yeah, don't forget, the state of Israel. They've been studying this same book. That's why they're doing the same killing. That's been told to them in the same book. So next time we'll talk about a scholar, Al-Albani, my sheikh, Shamsi, who is a street shouter in London, Zalghi Khan, who's claimed to be Muslim. I have no idea from which direction, in the Times of Israel, and his article that says, let me find it. He's talking about the Madkhalites. I know it's a bit long, but I think you really need to hear what we spoke about today. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help our brothers and sisters in Palestine against the enemies of the prophets, as Paul said to the Jews, you killed the prophets. So let me add this. So many Jews in the world today, they reject Israel and what Israel is doing. All thanks and praises are due to Allah. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.